All right, so now I'd like to show you 3 essential blues turnarounds. Okay, this happens in the turnaround section, and it's very traditional, and it sounds really great when you're playing. So let me play you a little bit of a blues thing, and I'll show you kind of what this sounds like. So it's going to happen at the end during the turnaround. Okay, so here's my walk-up guy. Here comes my turnaround segment. So I got my 5, 4, then the 1. I want to show you some of those things, some turnarounds, blues turnarounds. There's 3 essential ones that I want you to learn. So what I'm doing is I'm coming off the 5, 4, 1, 5, but instead of playing the whole chord thing, I'm going into a turnaround, a blues turnaround. So it sounds like this. Okay, so what we're doing here is we're just tagging at the end with this turnaround that sounds really neat. So the first one, we're coming off the 5, going to the 4, and then as soon as we go to the 1, we're going to go right into these turnarounds, okay? So our first turnaround is going to exist, I'm in the key of A again. So what I always do is I always visualize what I'm doing off of my 1 chord. You know, my before my 1 chord, am I after my 1 chord, what is it that I'm doing? So this thing is going to take place off the C sharp of the 5th string, which is the 4th fret. So when I see my 1 chord right here, it's sitting right over here. It's sitting right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go 4, 5, 6, 7. And again, more chromatics. We use it a lot. That's what I'm doing, is going 4, 5, 6, 7. Now in between that though, I'm going to put my pinky on the 4th string 7th fret. Now this note right here is an A. It's a root. It's an octave of this. So what I'm doing is I'm just leaving my root there from my power chord or my bar chord, whatever you want. I've got it right here, and I'm putting this guy on the 4th fret of the 5th string. And I'm just picking back and forth. So I'm going 5th string, 4th string, 5th string. And then I move up 1 fret, so I go to the 5th fret, do the same picking pattern, go to the 6th fret, which I could slide up, but I tend to use my pinky there, or my middle finger, excuse me. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my pinky on the 7th fret. So I have... See that? Okay. And then I go to my 5 chord, whether I'm going to do it as a 7th, if I'm going to it as a sharp 9, or sometimes I'll go to it with this shape right here. And what I'm doing there is I'm going 7th fret of the 5th string, and then 6th fret of the 4th string, and then I'm pressing on 3rd string on these 2 strings right here. So I'll make that little shape right there. Again, it sounds fine. I can do it any old way I want. Okay, so I've got, as soon as I hit that 1, or doesn't matter. I can go to any sort of 5 chord that I want to, and it's going to sound awesome. Okay? So the first one is this work, I'm working upward. So remember, you always have to start with, there's 3 notes to each one. Ba-da-da, ba-da-da, ba-da-da. To whatever 7th you want, or whatever 5 chord you want to go to. Now the second one exactly works the same way, except this time instead of walking up like this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk backwards. So what I'm doing there is I'm going to use that same A on the 4th string, 7th fret, but I'm using it with my index finger. So what I'm going to do then is go to my pinky on the 10th fret of the 5th string. Okay, and this time I'm doing the same picking pattern, but I'm just starting up here. Then I'm going to 9, 8, 7. Pretty cool, huh? And very simplistic to play, but very effective and very well, used in the blues community. So. however you want to add that on, okay? So again, to show you where it belongs, right after I strum my 1 chord on my turnaround section, I'm going 5, 4, 1. Okay, however you think. Or they're interchangeable because they have the same rhythmic style. So if I was playing straight rhythm, it probably wouldn't work the same way. I could play it faster like that. I have to really kick that guy in there, though, to make it fit with a straight rhythm. But what I could do, if it was too hard to play at that speed, I could just go and just do one of each. Or, and that'd be fine too. So, and that would be okay too. All right, so let's go to our third ending, our last turnaround here that I'm showing you. This one's kind of fun, and there's a couple different ways that you can do this. So what's happening here is I'm working off the A chord. Same stuff. I'd be coming around the 5, 4, 1. As soon as I hit the 1, I take off. Now what I'm doing here is I'm playing the 9th fret, which is 2 frets higher than my chord. This is how I'd visualize it up here. So the 9th fret of the 3rd and 1st strings. And you'll notice I'm using my middle finger on the 3rd string and my ring finger on the 1st string. So I'm still going to do that same da-da-da. Then I'm going to move back 1 fret, and back 1 fret, and then back 1 fret, but I'm also going to go, my 1st finger now is going to come in, my 3rd finger is going to come off, my 1st finger is going to go to the 1st string 5th fret, which is the bottom of this chord. So I'm going, see that? So sometimes what I like to do with this, I'll do what's called hybrid picking. And hybrid picking is done when you pick a note with the pick and then you pick another note with your finger. So you'll see I'm using my pick on the 3rd string and my middle finger on the 1st string. And that's perfect for this because they're separated. I can pick those 2 notes and not worry about the one in between. Okay, so I can be coming off this. Here we go. And then I go to my 5 chord. So, okay, so that's a really neat little sound. Kind of country sounding. Okay, and you can use a pick. It's just the last one you're going to have to do is kill that 2nd string in between when you strum it. Okay, but it sounds kind of, I don't know, it sounds kind of cool when you use your hybrid picking. Maybe a little bit of palm muting. Okay, now if you decided you just wanted to bash this through and you didn't want ba-da-da-na-na-na-na, another thing you do is head up to the 9th fret there. We're pressing on those same strings, 3rd string and 1st string. But I'm just going to add my 1st finger on the 2nd string in between on the 8th fret. And then I'm going to move back. And I'm going to move back again. And then I'm going to go to the bottom like a full A chord. So I'm playing 9, 8, 9. And then moving back. Moving back. And then moving to 5, 5, 6, which is the bottom of an A chord. So I might go. You know, there's all kinds of things I could do with that too. So I could be come up. Sorry. Okay, or. Okay, so there's lots of cool ways that I could utilize that. Or. Okay, so turnarounds. Obviously used at the very end of your 12-bar blues. Again, it lets everybody know that we're starting all over again, including you, right? So it's kind of nice to have in there. It's not a necessity, but you're certainly going to hear those a lot. And there are tons of different turnarounds. But I want you to start with a couple, 3 of them, just to get comfortable with being able to do those. So up to this point, we have covered a vast array of chords, of theory, of knowledge of our fretboard, okay, of applying those chords to this 12-bar blues system, 12-bar blues, and being able to use open chords or power chords or bar chords and then embellishing all of these things and making them into sevenths and finding chord substitutions and all kinds of different stuff. So before we move on to, I'm going to start giving you some blues riffs to practice, and then we're going to start moving on to actually soloing over all this stuff. What I want you to do is I want you to understand that there's a number of other styles of blues out there too. And 2 of them that I want to talk about is the 8-bar blues and the 16-bar blues. Okay, so I want to talk about those just a little bit for you, and then we'll move on from there.